All right, giving it a second here to get some people on. Wow, what a game. What a game. What a run. Indiana 56, Oregon 22. Absolute beatdown. What a performance. Man, just what a performance. Have the post game on. Oh my goodness. Wow, wow, wow. Wow, wow, wow. We're live on Twitter and YouTube, taking questions, of course, comments. Indiana's going to the to the national championship game. Started early. Opening kickoff, Byron Baldwin laid a hammer on that return. Next play, first play from scrimmage, D'Angelo Pons pick 6, of course. That really kind of set the tone and got everybody going. So, and from there, it was just a crisp, clean, surgical, dominant effort. Just absolutely almost perfect. I know there were a couple sacks. Fernando fumbled and Coogan recovered it. Couple plays you want back. I know in the second half when the game was pretty much over, Oregon had that 71-yard run. Some things I'm sure they'll watch and not love, and that's what we love about this staff, right? And that's what they do. But I mean, goodness gracious, just unbelievable performance. And yeah, Sig, I think that was an all-time post gamer. He said he's not focused on the next game. He's focused on cracking a beer open. So, I mean, that's about as much fun as I think he's ever had. So, at least in a media setting. So, wow, 56-22. Indiana moves on. Indiana will play Miami January 19th, 10 days from tonight. Miami will play in their home stadium, will be the road team. Right now, it looks like Indiana is about a touchdown favorite. I think that's probably where the line will end up. Indiana was like a 3.5 point favorite for tonight's game. So I'm sure we had a lot of happy Hoosiers with some money in their accounts after tonight. But goodness, just an absolutely unbelievable performance. Yep, Catherine, incredible times for Lennon. Yeah. Yeah, they just showed on ESPN, opened 7.5 point favorites opening line. With that's a lot in a national championship game. So that'll be interesting to see how that kind of goes over the next week and change here. But man, oh man, oh man. Game on TV was incredible, the atmosphere. So I'm sure a lot of people watching this right now are watching at home like I was. But it looked just crazy on TV, crazy fun. I was in Pasadena. I thought that was an IU takeover, and then all the texts and everything I was getting during the game tonight, it seemed like we really kind of upped it in Atlanta tonight. So again, taking questions, taking comments. That's the most fun way to do this. So a couple stats I can kind of read off. I think you start with Fernando. He was, perfect. He's been perfect through 2 playoff games so far. Bottom of the screen there, you'll see 17-20, 177, 5 touchdowns. He ran the ball pretty well too, and he needed. Doesn't ever look pretty. Kind of looks like a deer on ice, but I think he's faster and more athletic than he probably gets credit for. And that's big. He can extend plays when we've needed it. He did it against Alabama as well. He probably won't love the fumble, of course, but not much else you can say about Mendoza. I mean, he has just been amazing all season, and he's, I would say, really leveled up his play since the Week 11 bye week. Then Purdue, Ohio State, Bama, and obviously Oregon tonight. He's been improving, which it's crazy to say that he could do that after winning the Heisman Trophy, but that's what you want. Big time players make big time plays in big time games, and that's what he's been doing, and that's what everybody's been doing. So underrated favorite part of the night now is we're getting the Indiana's cheating stuff on Twitter. So we're beating teams down so bad that the only explanation, of course, is we know everybody's plays and what they're running and what's going on. So that's always fun. So yeah, I have the post game on ESPN. Sig looks like he's going back to the locker room now. Fernando's on the field. Yeah, IU moves to 26-2 now with Sig as head coach, which is insane. He is undefeated at home or in neutral sites. Unbelievable. Just unbelievable. So there's going to be a ton of post-game content. I can't wait to watch the press conferences. We'll have coverage for that, of course, notes and quotes and stats. We're working on a Daniel Ndukwe story. He was phenomenal tonight. His second career start, fourth string DN coming into the season, has really stepped up with Kellen Wyatt and Stephen Daly being out for the year now. Mikhail is in and out of the game. Looked like he was cramping. That's kind of what we're hearing. So I don't think anything that will affect the game on next Monday. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to say. So again, comments, please. Questions, comments. Would much rather take those. Yeah, hopefully Coach Sig gets. I think he drinks Coors Light, is what he said before. But yeah, that clip at the end of the game was hilarious when he said he's not focused on the next game. He's focused on cracking open a beer. So I got my my Sig koozie and my beer cracked with him. So, gosh, I mean, just phenomenal, man. Just phenomenal. Unbelievable. I've gotten more texts today than I think I'll probably get in my life for for anything, which is probably good and bad. But what a fun time. Just what a fun time. What are we? 15-0 now. Indiana's 15-0. One game where they're going to be a touchdown favorite in the national championship to go 16-0 and, you know, be in the conversation for all-time great runs. So obviously there's a ton of work to do and a whole nother game that's going to be really tough and really physical. Certainly, I think everybody knows that. Miami's a good team that's playing their best football right now that they have all season. Their offense looked better than I thought they were going to against Ole Miss, and their defense, obviously, both of their lines, I think that's where they really stand out, their offensive defensive lines. So we'll have tons of coverage on that, of course. But tonight, I think it's about just enjoying this one. Man, you know, I didn't really sleep last night. I was pretty fired up and pretty excited. But gosh, that was just what a performance! What a performance! What a performance! Yeah, I thought defense played great, which they have all year. Those long runs at the end, you know, they are what they are. So opportunistic, +3 in the turnover game. That's what they've done all season. Fourth down stop in the second half, the punt block, scored on defense. Just awesome. Didn't really need Nico. Mitch McCarthy had a nice game punting the ball when he was needed. Kind of flipped the field a couple times. One of them, really nice punt, and then the lost ball, running back strip sack, you know, whatever you want to call that, was set up with the short field because of McCarthy there. So he was great too. Yeah, Nico perfect on extra points. Oregon missed their field goals, 56-yarders. So, I mean, not a ton you can do there. Came up short, but it was right down the pipe. So, man, oh man. Crazy. Yeah, please drop questions, comments in. Looks like they're starting to roll in. Zach, yeah, Natty tickets. I was looking kind of during halftime. I booked a flight during halftime. So now I got to work on a ticket. So if anybody wants to give me $5 or has an in on tickets, let me know. Yeah, it looks like right now the get-in's about $4,000. I would say there are a limited number of tickets right now on the market. So I don't think Miami has put there. I saw something they put out today. Um, they put their ticket allotment out today. I'm sure IU will do the same early in the week, so more tickets will hit the market. But yeah, I'm expecting it to be a crazy, crazy get in price. So TJ, welcome in. I don't know. What do you got?
Okay, I'm in. I can hear you now. I can hear you.
Nick, what's going on?
Can you hear me?
We're up to about 200 people. Yeah, keep the questions coming, comments coming. Indiana 56, Oregon 22. I don't know if that drops thing has any more belts now to auction off, but they might need to get on that. But I mean, goodness gracious, Indiana will play for national championship. TJ, what did you think of that game? Hard to pick a couple things to focus on, but if you had to pick, what would you say?
I mean, numbers can be misleading, right?
Can't hear you, unfortunately. I don't know if it's just me.
Can anybody hear me? Let's see. Are we good now? Can you hear me?
I think so.
Yes. Anybody? Anybody hear me? Okay. Alex, can you hear me? No? All right.
TJ, I can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm having a little audio issue here.
Okay. All right. We'll go with, hopefully people can hear me. Numbers can be deceiving, and Oregon ends up outgaining Indiana for the game, but completely irrelevant, right? I mean, Indiana was dominant in pretty much every facet. I do think that there is something after the first interception, right? The pick six for D'Angelo Pons. Oregon gets a drive that. Sammy's with us. All right. Oregon gets a response, and I thought that Indiana's first offensive series was critical because Oregon had stolen back momentum, right? And I thought that was impressive for the Ducks. It was a good response for them. Indiana's offense goes out 7-7. They had been on the sideline for an extended period of time between warm-ups and when they get their first play. And I thought that third down play from Mendoza to Elijah Surratt for that back shoulder reception, it was perfectly defended by Oregon. Surratt pulls it in. I thought it looked like pass interference. They didn't call it. Didn't matter. Surratt gets it. IU goes down and scores, answers Oregon's touchdown. It's 14-7, and they never really looked back after that. So I thought that was a critical play for Indiana. And then obviously the turnovers are the story. Oregon's self-inflicted wounds caused by Indiana's pressure. 2 fumbles lost for Dante Moore, plus the interception, turnover on downs, the block punt. If you give this Indiana team extra opportunities, you give them mistakes, you give them short fields, they're going to kill you. And that's exactly what happened. Oregon did some positive things, but if you give Indiana that many mistakes, it's not going to matter what else you do because IU is going to run away from you. And then the second half just felt like, how quickly can we run this clock out? So incredibly impressive performance from Indiana. Sammy, can you hear us?
You're muted, Sammy.
Sammy is muted. Still muted, I think.
we go.
Now,
Can you hear me now?
we got you. We got you.
All right. It's weird. I've never done this on the phone before. Yeah, down on the field. What a performance. That was, from the get-go, TJ, we talked about it with a big play on defense in the podcast going into the game, and that was as big of a play as you could get. I came in and you guys were talking about Surratt. I thought the two catches he had, the one where they called pass interference, and I'll get to the refs here in a second before StreamYard kicks me off for using words that shouldn't be used without a bleep button. But the absolute man catch that he had down on the sideline on third down, and then the one where the pass interference were his two best catches of the year. He was just so good. 7 targets, 7 receptions, 75 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Mhm.
They couldn't cover him. Great to see Pons on. Mike Shanahan was in his bag tonight. Charlie Beck, Omar Cooper looks healthy. The offensive line looked, pretty good. Outside of that one play where they got the strip sack, that IU kind of lucked out where the ball bounced back to Fernando. But after that first drive, IU's defense absolutely took over. Daniel Ndukwe had a huge game. I thought this was Mikhail Kamara's best game of the season. And it might not show up in the box score, and I know he left with an injury, but they have 10 days to heal up, and we'll find out what that injury is shortly, hopefully. But he allowed that defensive line to eat, and there was a time there where any time Moore dropped back, he was under pressure. They tackled pretty well. Oregon's got some dudes, though. And they got open. Second half referee. I don't know. What are we doing?
Yeah.
Man, I get that your conference is out of the playoff and you want to stay relevant and all those things and make it the SEC ref show. But they missed the pass interference. There was a phantom hold call on Keelan Black's long run. They missed a hold call in the end zone that would have been a safety for IU. It's like they stopped caring at halftime. And Buck said it on the radio call. It's like checked out at halftime. It was 42. What was the halftime score? 35-7?
Yeah.
42-7?
35-7. Yep.
It was a lot to a little. And it was like they checked out at halftime. But, man, IU did it in all 3 phases. Special teams. Ndukwe got the block on the punt. They scored the touchdown off of that. 21 points off of turnovers. I'm interested to see what the excuse Oregon uses, because they use the excuse card all week coming into the game that, we didn't really prepare well the first time, or Sadiq wasn't 100%. And, they're going to say that, Whittingham and their running backs weren't healthy. IU kicked their ass tonight. They made them tap out.
Yeah. Sammy,
they have it on the 34-point loss for Oregon is their second largest under Dan Lanning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they're so gimmicky. They tried the stemming again. They move. They do all this stuff on offense, and it's just like, dude, you got a good quarterback. You got good. Just get them the ball in space. You don't have to do all this stuff. And I thought the first drives of each half for Oregon were really well thought out, really well scripted. It kind of made you nervous that Oregon's offense is here to play.
Yeah, that first drive for them was solid. That's always I don't know how much it's true. It's got to be something, but it's always, everybody says that was a great scripted drive. Let's see the off schedule stuff, and from there he really kind of took it to him. So.
Sammy, since you are there and we are not, television broadcast made it very clear how much of a pro IU crowd this was. How big of a difference do you think that made? The IU players and coaches commented on after the game, and it was apparent in the broadcast, but you being there, how cool was that and how big of a deal was that pro IU atmosphere?
So the D'Angelo Pons is pick 6. So I sit no more than a foot away from Don Fisher, and I could not hear. I don't know what the call was on the pick 6. It was that loud for that. It was I mean, what did we say? The Rose Bowl was like 80-20, 85-15 IU fans.
Felt like 80-20, yeah.
This might have been 90-10. And IU fans were loud. They were into it. And it gives you that confidence. Poor Oregon band got booed off the field on pre-game stop. Like, what the hell did Oregon band do to IU other than wear green and yellow? They got booed off. Every time they put an Oregon fan on the scoreboard, loud boos. Every time they put an IU fan on the screen, huge cheers. And I think IU just fed off of that. I don't think the noise affected Oregon, or like there weren't false starts or things like that. But it was just, and I said it in our group text, like the avalanche is coming, and that's the term Buck used all the time all season. It's like IU just avalanches people, and that's what happened. And it was an avalanche of noise too. And once that the pop of noise on that Pons pick six. I think the only thing comparable that I've been to live was probably the Larry Johnson 4-point play. Like that, it's I don't know how to describe it. It's just like an explosion of noise, and that's the big play that IU needed to say, hey, we're here, we're not messing around, and you gotta get your act together.
Yeah, Dante Moore in the post game just said that they beat themselves tonight. So I wouldn't say they played a great game, but I don't know how true that is. But
I mean, they turned the ball over three times. They turned the ball over 3 times. They turned it over on downs twice. They gave up 21 points on turnovers, and you had a pump block.
28
points.
Yeah. Yep. I think that it's true. Like they certainly had a hand in their own demise. That's very true. I do think that.
But even let's say Oregon cuts everything in half. They're still losing by 20. They lost by 34.
Yeah,
right.
With the touchdown at the end, yeah.
And with Indiana essentially just playing let's kill the clock for the last 20 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
The last half hour of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Oregon had a hand in their own demise, as I kind of said in my opening ramble. If you give this Indiana team they take a mile, right? I mean, it is you give them anything.
Yes, they're like a 4-year-old.
A blown pass, a missed block. Indiana makes you pay. Yes, and they did that consistently against Oregon, just as they've done it consistently against everybody they've played. I think as we kind of peek ahead to the national championship game against Miami, not to preview that right now because we don't need to do that, but if Miami makes the same mistake that they did against Ole Miss, the same fate will occur to them that happened to Oregon.
Yeah, Indiana's like a 5-year-old. If you're going to give them an inch and give them one piece of candy, they're going to take the whole damn candy bar.
Yeah.
And then they're going to stomp on you and punch you in the gut and laugh at you and call you an idiot and say, how did you do that? And you're going to say, well, that was my mistake.
You're around some rough 5-year-olds sometimes. Yikes.
Yeah, man. That's education on the Far East side of Indianapolis, baby.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. It's okay.
Right.
They're going to test boundaries. And Oregon, I don't understand why teams throw at Pons early in the game. Like,
yeah.
Like,
they're trying to get their best guy involved and into the flow of the offense. And
that pass was to Benson, wasn't it?
Yes.
Okay.
Pass was to D'Angelo Pons.
Well, that's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
Hit him right in the numbers. Yeah,
that's true.
I mean, I'm pretty sure Buck called it before the ball left Moore's hand.
Yeah, and for all the talk about this matchup could go a long way towards deciding the number 1 pick, and
Moore's coming back.
I understand that NFL teams make weird decisions sometimes, but I would certainly have to think that the Las Vegas Raiders are
It was another Fernando.
Technically
more
on the
touchdowns.
clock, right? Technically on the clock, but nah, I think they've made their decision. I would have to think, but those are topics for after the national title for sure. So I think that of the players that we've sort of talked about, the same stars that continue to show up, but a player that we mentioned in our group chat that I think deserves a lot of credit for his work tonight, Daniel Ndukwe, really showing up. We've seen it in flashes, but tonight was definitely his best game as a Hoosier so far.
Yeah. And I thought the interesting wrinkle with him, they played him more like Wyatt did, where they dropped him into coverage a little bit more. Daly did not have that kind of ability. Obviously, Stephen Daly, fantastic player, different player.
Yep.
You saw Ndukwe kind of in the field a little bit more, kind of like they did with Kellen Wyatt in the first part of the season. But yeah,
all right, guys, I'm going to get back to getting some stuff. So awesome game, awesome win. We'll have it all wrapped up. Ben and I are going to get into the locker room, get some quotes from the guys, and then this might be a no sleep Friday night.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all. Thanks, Sammy.
Safe travels.
Stuff, and safe travels coming back.
Yep, and Pat, we got stuff to do all week. One more game, guys. One more.
That's
game.
right. One more.
One
game.
more.
And it's the biggest one because it's the next one.
That's right.
And the last one.
Yes.
The tweet right now I'm looking at Greg Harvey. I don't know where or his affiliation, or whatever. FBS or NFL players all time to have 5+ passing touchdowns, over 85% completion percentage, and 25 or more rushing yards in a postseason game. The list is Fernando Mendoza. That's it.
That's a good list.
Not a bad list to be on.
It's a good list, yeah. And for the second straight game in the postseason, Fernando Mendoza with more touchdown passes than incompletions. That's absurd.
Yeah.
That's absurd.
I talked about it before you guys hopped on, but
yeah,
it's remarkable to think that he has elevated his level of play. I would say from the week 11 bye week, Purdue, whatever game. And
That's right.
I thought he played pretty well in the Big Ten championship game, phenomenal against Alabama, even better tonight.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you want. You want big time players making big time plays in big time games, and he's certainly doing that.
Just hyper efficient.
There was no rust like tonight. The first drive of the Alabama game, 2 sacks, looked a little out of sorts. The third down, back shoulder to Surratt, that was a filthy catch to move the chains on that first drive for IU. They were dialed in. That out route he threw opposite hash to Becker was just unbelievable. That was on their stud freshman corner too.
Yep. And it was well covered.
Yeah, and I think Becker got him for the touchdown as well.
Yes.
And he's a great player, but they had no answers tonight. No answers tonight at all.
No. You can cover great, but against a good receiver with a perfect pass, you can't do anything about it. You cannot do anything about a lot of those completions. Now, some of them were schemed open for sure. Some of them were good routes that guys got open, but there were a lot of tight windows that Mendoza just put on the money.
Yep.
Yeah. The running game, effective. They didn't steamroll Oregon's defensive front, but it was effective.
Yep.
Certainly, without that holding being called, the numbers look a little better than what they end up being, but they were still fine. It was more than enough to keep Indiana on schedule for the most part. I did think IU faced more third and longs than they have in a while. That was, a bit of a challenge for the offense, right? A number of 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8 type situations, more early in the game.
Yeah.
But beyond that, I think the offense accomplished exactly what they wanted to, and the game script played out how IU wants it to. Get a lead, run the ball, open up the pass, take a shot when you want to, and just beat them down until they quit.
Yep, which happened again tonight.
Yep.
Yeah.
Credit to Oregon for, I guess, they continued to fight a little bit on offense and sling the ball around a little bit, but whatever. I mean,
tweet here:
stats.
Mendoza in the playoffs so far, 31 of 36, which is 86.1%, 369 yards, 8 touchdowns. Obviously, no interceptions.
Yeah,
and can't be any better than that. Like
you
literally.
cannot, you can't, and it's been work that's been done in the first half of games.
Yeah,
by and large.
Yeah,
I mean, we'll say the first like 2.5 quarters of each game.
Yeah,
and then mainly just being relegated to hand it off. Just hopefully we get to see a similar story in Miami against Miami. I think Sammy mentioned it. Surratt was awesome.
Yep.
I thought it was cool that, just as a kind of coincidence, it's been such a team effort, and there's been so much talk about how connected this group is, that the touchdowns were spread out.
Yep.
You had Surratt, Cooper, Becker, EJ Williams each get one.
Yeah.
That's cool. Like Nowakowski didn't get one, and Roman Hemby didn't get one, but hey, that happens. But yeah, EJ Williams, he's been able to give himself a full healthy season, hangs in there, gets passed by Becker, but still stays engaged and gets that touchdown. That's awesome. And if IU has to rely on him, he can make plays.
Yeah.
It's Kaylon Black continues to do what he does, runs really hard, violent runner. It just looks like he would be an absolute nightmare to try to tackle. The offensive line, Sammy mentioned it. They were good. A couple of instances of getting beat. I think it was. I'll have to go back and look at who got beat on that forced fumble that lost 20 yards. I know Roman Hemby missed the block, but
the Benson got a hand on him. Like Fernando dropped really, really deep into that pocket, so I'm sure that's one they'll look at. But I didn't think Benson blew that one, honestly, and he was at least aware and got the ball back. But yeah, looking at that, at least from my eyes, obviously is a nobody X's and O's guy, and certainly not an offensive line guy. Benson pushed him wide, and Fernando was almost 10 yards deep in that pocket. So that was a deep one, but yeah.
But overall, perfectly fine day for the offensive line. I thought they were probably more dominant against Alabama, but that's nitpicking. They were perfectly good tonight.
Yep.
Nothing to. It was interesting from a just personnel standpoint, right? That Khalil Benson back in the starting lineup, that starting 5 at right tackle with Ajani not.
Yep.
So sort of a flip back to regular season versus what it was in the Rose Bowl. I don't know what to make of that. And who knows what it's going to look like for the title game. Both have proven to be capable. I know that Benson has his detractors for occasional false start penalties or occasional.
He had one tonight. That was so nitpicky, but I guess
I'm not gonna. Boy, I didn't. They showed the replay, and I don't know. I don't know what's a false start and what is just somebody in a stance, slightly moving their head. I don't know, but I think the only thing from an offensive standpoint that I kind of shook my head at was late in the game. Fernando Mendoza keeping the ball near the goal line, trying to run it in. I just do not want to see him run the ball when they are ahead like that late in the game. I just, if you want to run a keeper on a zone read play, fine, have Alberto in the game. I mean, geez. But
yeah, I didn't love. That's my biggest gripe with Sig, which I guess if you're going to be beating the crap out of everybody so bad, you want your starters to come out. It's a good problem to have, but
yeah,
he leaves them in way too long for my liking. But I don't know. They clearly know what they're doing, but it seems like everybody kind of like. I think Mikhail was cramping. Hopefully that's what he was doing.
I saw him walking around at the end there and celebrating. Who knows?
Like he was cramping. Amari Farrell got hurt on the opening kickoff.
Right.
He had a knee like brace or sleeve on for the rest of the game.
Mm-hmm.
He was another one. He was he was in the game with 30 seconds left and he was trying to sub himself out. So I like stuff like that. I don't get it or love it.
Looked like there was linebacker rotation pretty early. We saw Turby, we saw Caden Turner.
Yep.
Looked like that started, some defensive line rotation, but the secondary, I mean, not much rotation there. Jaja Boyd got in the game, but it was fairly late. And like Farrell and Lewis Moore, they were in there right till the end. So, it's not probably something I would do, but I would probably do a million things wrong and go 0-12 and get fired. But I'd like the buyout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be good. That's not bad at all.
No.
No. Yeah, we'll take a couple more minutes here. Again, we'll have a ton more stuff. So again, questions, comments, we'd much rather talk about those and just blab. TJ and I do that enough together. So yeah, I'm just watching the post game stuff. It's insane. Yeah, Indiana has not trailed in the college football playoff yet, so that's obviously what you want. You want to get off to good starts, and hard to get off to a better start than they did tonight. So that obviously would be a key heading into the Natty. We've also seen them come down from behind though, so it's not the end all be all, but obviously you want to start with the lead and hopefully hold it. But yeah, it's gonna be an awesome game.
That opening line 7.5. Miami presents some interesting dilemmas, right?
Who do you think they are most similar to that we have played this season?
I think that the way that Mario Cristobal envisions their team is Iowa, in terms of running the ball, being super physical. I think that Mario Cristobal, if it were up to him, it sort of seems like he would run the ball 55 out of 60 plays, and the 5 passes that they run would be like tunnel screens to Malachi Toney, and the ball wouldn't go more than 2 yards past the line of scrimmage. Obviously, they have significantly better athletes than Iowa does. Their receivers block really, really well. Their offensive line is really good. Their defensive line is really good. I mean, Mesidor, Bain, an absolute handful. I do think that Carson Beck has grown a lot as a quarterback this season. However, I think that Indiana's defense is going to ask more of Carson Beck than anyone he has faced so far. By quite a bit. I think the Ohio State game played into the script Miami needed it to, and Carson Beck was not asked to do much. I don't think that Indiana is going to let that happen, but Miami's plan is going to be very simple. they are going to test Indiana's run defense, attempt to keep IU's offense off the field with long drives, long in terms of the number of plays and long in terms of the time that comes off the clock. I think that the games against Iowa and to some extent Penn State, where it's limited possessions, are really going to be a blueprint for how Miami attacks this. They had multiple scoring drives of 15-plus plays against Ole Miss. Now, Ole Miss does not tackle well at all. They were the worst tackling team in the SEC. Indiana is one of the best tackling teams in the country. So Miami was able to extend drives with broken tackles, short passes to the perimeter that they were able to turn into first downs because of missed tackles. I think Miami will take a few deep shots, specifically to Malachi Toney, who is a special, dangerous player. They'll need Carson Beck to be a lot more accurate on those deep balls than he was against Ole Miss. On the other side of the ball, they've got a couple of game wreckers in Mesidor and Ruben Bain. I think that their secondary can be had. If you can give Fernando time, I like the matchup that IU's receivers have against that Miami secondary. And I have a lot of respect for Shannon Dawson. I think Corey Heatherman has done a really good job as their defensive coordinator. They've improved a lot on that side of the ball, and they do play with the physical edge on defense that's going to be tough. But I just initially, if Indiana can continue to play the way that they are, Miami does not have enough to hang with Indiana. They don't.
Yeah.
If Indiana lets Miami dictate the pace of the game, I think it will become a limited possessions game that gets scary very fast.
Yeah.
So it's I think going to come down to, and this is just initial off the cuff thoughts, because I purposely did not think much about Miami until IU had beaten Oregon. Now that they have, just my first thought is, can Indiana get Miami off the field on 3rd and short? Because Miami is going to try to pick up 4 or 5 yards on first down, pick up 4 to 5 on second down, and have 3rd and short, and be able to hand the ball off to Fletcher or Brown and just try to man ball against Indiana. Nobody's been able to successfully do that against Indiana so far this year. IU's run defense is very good, and they've been more physical than everybody they've played. But, Miami, they're as athletic as Ohio State. They're as athletic as Oregon. It will be, another very difficult test, and obviously it's at their home field. How much is that going to matter? No idea. I have no clue. Crowd-wise, Indiana's going to be right there. Yeah. I know it's in their backyard. IU's going to have equal or more fans.
There are a ton of South Florida Hoosiers, and there's a lot of Atlanta-based. Obviously, it was a huge travel crowd.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of Southeast-based Hoosiers as well.
Yes.
Particularly Atlanta. So I know that's a drivable, obviously, destination.
They'll have, both schools will get their allocation, and Indiana will quickly sell out theirs. I assume Miami would sell out theirs.
Yeah.
And then you've got another 25,000 or so that are up for grabs for whatever number goes to the various corporate, corporate people that are going to get tickets and all of that. Whatever's out there on the open market, IU's going to be equal to or more than Miami, even though it's right there in their backyard. So that part is not going to matter. So does the stadium itself, the familiarity with it, does the field itself, the familiarity, does that matter? I don't know. It doesn't hurt Miami, that's for sure. But I don't know if it's going to help them significantly or not. I think it's a fascinating matchup just in terms of the generally perceived culture of the two schools, the two programs. I do think that kind of the you and the flash of Miami is perhaps a little bit overdone. I don't like this version of Miami is not the,
The 90s Miami.
Yeah,
2000s Miami. Yeah.
It's not that the swaggering, the crime and all of that, the attitude that they had. They play with swagger, sure, whatever, but they strive to be a physical, no flash football team that beats you up. That's what they strive to do. Now, just at a base level, I have a hard time thinking that a team that lost to SMU and a team that lost to Louisville and finished third in the ACC and is Mario Cristobal going against Curt Cignetti, I have a hard time thinking that that's going to turn out poorly for Indiana. There's a lot more to the game than just that. I get it. And those two losses came at a time that Miami was not playing the way that they are now. I understand that, but Indiana's clicking on all cylinders right now.
Right.
And they've got one game to win a national title and finish 16-0 and be one of the greatest teams in college football history. That's not hyperbole at this point, right?
Yep,
So,
literally. Yeah, the stat is there's been one team in the history of college football that's gone 16-0. It was Yale in 1894.
I remember them. Yeah.
Yeah, they were
great.
good. They had a vicious passing attack, I'm sure.
Yeah. Fitz McGee and
They probably played like four teams, five times or four times.
Yeah. Buckles O'Reilly took down Harvard and the Fighting Crimson or whatever. Yeah.
IU and Miami. The series is 1-1 all time. They've played in 1964 and 1966. So interesting. Miami's going for their sixth national title, obviously.
First since 01?
Yeah, 01 or 02. Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, first appearance for Indiana. So,
I
don't know. We'll wrap up here, TJ. I guess if you have to sum up thoughts on just tonight. So, not the season, not the run, not next, but just tonight. Where do you start? Where do you end?
So I start with the eruption that was heard. Like we knew it was a pro IU crowd, and then the eruption you heard with that D'Angelo Pons pick six, and then I knew Indiana was in really good shape with their first offensive drive when they answered Oregon's counter punch with a punch of their own to take that 14-7 lead. But I think that tonight was such a good illustration of how sound IU is in all three phases.
Yeah.
The offense made plays, but they took advantage of what the defense opened up for them with those turnovers. And then once Indiana has Oregon down and they're beating them, they add a special teams play with that blocked punt. After, by the way, a missed field goal by Oregon, granted, 50-plus yarder, okay. But a missed field goal by Oregon. Indiana had a couple of nice punts from Mitch McCarthy, right? A guy that rarely gets called upon he comes up with 2 nice punts and good coverage by Indiana's coverage unit. So every single element of it was sound for Indiana, which is just a continuation of what we've seen all season. They've answered the bell every single time. And we heard a lot about how tough it is to beat a really good team twice. And that's all true, right? It's all true. But IU continues to make things that aren't supposed to look easy look really easy. And they're not. They're, like, beating Oregon like that is not easy.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen to a team as talented as Oregon. It doesn't happen to a team as talented as Alabama. But IU keeps doing it. They keep resetting what we think is possible. And every single game watching these guys is such a joy.
Yeah, no question. I think that's perfect. I don't really have anything to add. Just unbelievable night. Unbelievable performance. Sammy is at the press conferences, like he said. We'll have a ton of stuff coming to the site tonight, and then throughout the week. Of course, we'll have you guys all covered. Plugs here, free at the bottom. So we have our forums community has been awesome. So that's free. So you can make an account, hop in there. There's a bajillion threads talking about the game tonight. There'll be a bajillion threads talking about obviously the game on Monday. More transfer portal stuff. The Army All-American Bowl is tomorrow. I think we're expecting IU to get at least 2 commits, maybe 3 of some kind of 4-star guys. So definitely notable. And yeah, so again, free to make a forum account, and then paid accounts, $3 a month. You'll get access to, more in-depth breakdowns, recruiting scoops, things like that. So
yeah, we've got a basketball game to cover in less than 12 hours.
Yeah, it's favored against a ranked Nebraska team, which is cool. So that'll be interesting to see that. But yeah, hope they play well. I thought put a good performance on the court against Maryland. But yeah, not really top of my mind right now, but we'll have that as well for everybody. Yeah. So again, also basketball forums if you want to talk hoops, tons of stuff in there as well. But yeah, we'll have you guys covered as we head into the national championship game on January 19th for your number 1 15-0 Indiana Hoosiers. That'll be a touchdown favorite.
That's right. 7.5 points was, I think, the opening line. So one more. Exactly right. So we'll have everybody covered. Thanks for those that hopped on tonight. Like we said, make sure to follow us on Twitter at Hoosier_huddle. And HoosierHuddle.com. We're going to have tons of stuff coming out tonight. Notes, quotes, stats, interviews with the guys straight from Atlanta. So make sure you're checking out the site tonight or tomorrow. For those that have NFL teams in the playoffs, good luck starting this weekend. But again, make sure to come back to the site and we'll have you covered. So TJ, thanks for hopping on. Thanks, everybody. And we'll talk to you soon. Yep. Night, everybody.